Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to COVID Heroes. This is a new event that we created at VIATEC, and I'm Dan Gunn, the CEO of VIATEC, which is our local tech association here in Victoria. The southern tip of Vancouver Island, where we stand, is the traditional territory of the Lekwungen people. We acknowledge with respect these people whose relationship with this land continues to this day. We are grateful to live, work, and play on this unceded territory, and we acknowledge the rich resources and cultural heritage of this beautiful land. Now, if you're a VIATEC member, you would know that we every year do something called the VIATEC Awards. We've been doing that for almost 20 years. But knowing that we couldn't get together in large groups and have a really fun night, we wanted to do something different with all the time and resources that we normally dedicate to that event. And so when we were thinking about it, we started to think, how can we start to shine a spotlight on the people who are making a real difference in our community, the people who are digging deep and doing more, and becoming our COVID heroes. We put out the call for a lot of nominations, and we were overwhelmed with how many great stories came in. It was really difficult for us and our sponsors to narrow it down to just 10. I want to thank each and every one of the nominees for what you've been doing since this pandemic began. We hear the term unprecedented times. So if you're playing COVID bingo at home, that can be, that's probably on your scorecard. And we want to just acknowledge everything that you've all done. We're extremely proud that you're part of our community, and we're really touched with the amount of heart and dedication and community mindedness that you've all shown. Before we get started, I'd like to acknowledge our partners and sponsors. Our title sponsors are the City of Victoria, KPMG, and the Roy Group. You'll be hearing from representatives of them throughout the night. Our media partners are Czech News, The Zone at 91.3 FM, 100.3 The Q, and the Times Colonist. Also a special shout out to the team, Jason and others at the Stream of Consciousness, for helping put the show together and stream it for all of you tonight. Thank you for your support, and this event wouldn't be possible without you. I also wanted to let you know that we have reopened the VIATEC Food Bank Challenge during this event in order to raise funds. So far, over $50,000 has already been raised by the 27 tech companies that are participating. We're really proud of that. But if you want to join us, please go to viatec.ca right now, and you'll see the ability to make a donation. It's quick and it's easy and it's online. And let's be honest, people need the food bank more than they've ever needed it before. And so if you have a moment and you have a few dollars to spare, we'd really appreciate you throwing it towards the Food Bank Challenge so that more people can not have to worry about food security during the holiday season and throughout the pandemic. Let's get going now with the awards and bring on our first speaker, Mayor Lisa Helps from the City of Victoria. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Dan. Thanks for having me. Hi, everyone. I'm Mayor Lisa Helps from the City of Victoria, and we are, as always, very proud to support this event, shining a spotlight on the positive stories that have come out of the pandemic. We're not all partying and throwing around whales at the theater this year. That will come again. But in the meantime, I'm happy to be here with all of you this afternoon. And now I am very honored to reveal the very first COVID hero. Congratulations to Brienne Budlowski. So if you don't know her, Brienne is an ER doctor with a young family, and she returned to work after just 6 months maternity leave right at the beginning of the pandemic. She was thrown into the turmoil of reconfiguring the ER, learning and implementing new protocols, all the while caring for her infant daughter on her short breaks. Uncertain of the risk that COVID could pose to her young family and being on the front lines here in Victoria, Brienne turned to social media to begin to educate our community. Her Dr. Brie Instagram account quickly amassed close to 3,000 local followers who tune in for regular dialogue, updates, and advice from healthcare professionals. What a hero. Let's head back over to Dan, who has her on the line right now.
Thank you so much. It's an honor and a surprise to be named one of VIATEC's COVID heroes. When I started the Dr. Brie Instagram page, it was meant to be an educational platform, but little did I know that it would be a mode of connection during what has been a very long number of months. I have been repeatedly blown away by Victoria's individuals and businesses and the resilience that you have all shown in 2020. And I feel so lucky to be a part of this community. One of the bright lights of the last number of months has been the way that Victoria has come together in heart despite being apart in distance. So thank you so much for this award, but mostly thank you all for the sacrifices that you're continuing to make. And here's to a new year of travel and open doors and awkwardly long hugs. Thanks so much.
Thanks for taking some time after your shift to send that note to us, Brienne. We really appreciate it. It's obvious when you speak how much this all matters to you, how kind you are, and how lucky we are to have you in our community doing what you are on the front lines of the COVID pandemic. You may have noticed in the background up on the fireplace here and beside me, this is the Astrodot trophy that we normally give out at the VIATEC Awards. They're made by a local artist named Russell Papp. He hand carved it and then made a mold so that we could replicate them on an ongoing basis. They're quite large and they look great in on people's trophy cases and in people's rooms or in their lobbies. And for this year, Russ has come up with this clever medical mask to go on the COVID Heroes Award. So each of our recipients will be getting one of these, and yours is on the way soon, Brienne. Let's let the awards continue, and please welcome our next presenter, Maggie Bartold from KPMG, to announce the next COVID hero.
Hi, everyone. My name is Maggie Bartold from KPMG. We've been sponsors of the VIATEC Awards for many years, and when we heard of this pivot to celebrate the community during these unprecedented times, we didn't hesitate to show our support. I'm honored to reveal your next COVID hero. Congratulations to Accent Inns and Hotel Z. When COVID-19 hit, the 5 Accent Inns across BC kept their doors open to healthcare staff and essential workers. The chain partnered with United Way to create the Hotels for the Frontline Workers Fund that allowed donors to help cover the cost of accommodation for essential service workers. When BC cancer patients needed a place to go because some facilities had to shut down, they partnered with the Cancer Society of BC to offer safe rooms for these patients undergoing treatment. Through the summer, guests could choose 25% off their room rate or donate that 25% to Variety, the children's charity. Most recently, Hotel Z Tofino also opened its doors for a safe place for its First Nations to isolate. If this weren't enough, Mandy Farmer, the CEO, sent $250 grocery gift certificates to all her employees, including the employees that were temporarily laid off. Wow, congratulations.
VIATEC, thank you so much for this award. In such a bleak year, this means the world to us. Thank you.
Thanks, Mandy. And congratulations to you and your entire team. That's some amazing, great things that you've come up with during the pandemic to pitch in and help out. You're obviously a really kind employer, and I know some people who work with you. And I have to say to anybody watching, if you've never stayed at one of the Hotel Zs, it's almost like staying on a movie set. It's just so fun, and every little attention to detail is great. So, great job, Mandy, and thanks for all that you do for our community on an ongoing basis. I'd like to welcome now our next presenter. It's Ian Chisholm from the Roy Group to announce our next COVID hero. Take it away, Ian.
Thanks, Dan. I'm Ian Chisholm from Roy Group. We've collaborated with VIATEC over the last few years on a number of leadership development and events celebrating the ups and downs of the entrepreneurial journey. We didn't anticipate a down like 2020, but we're really inspired that there's a platform like this to recognize some amazing community heroes. People like your next COVID hero. Congratulations to Jimbo. You may know Jimbo most recently from Canada's Drag Race. Jimbo's a local performer and designer who, in the height of his recent fame, continued to do right by his community with his team through the Mask for Mask project. Jimbo and his team made face masks in fun, colorful patterns. And for every mask they sell, they personally hand one to someone who's homeless. Sewing up to 18 hours a day, Jimbo scaled up production by putting everyone to work in assembly line fashion, set up a new website that was also launched in order to help him sell and donate masks across Canada. Such an honor to turn things over to another COVID hero, Jimbo.
Well, hello everybody, it's me, Jimbo, reporting live from the House of Jimbo. I am so grateful to be a recipient of the COVID Hero Award, and I want to thank everybody for the love and the support. I couldn't have done this without my beautiful partner, Brady, my brothers, Jeff and Elliot, my best friend, Sarah Reynolds, and numerous other people that came together to help make this project a possibility. And we were successful in making and donating thousands of masks to the Victoria Street population, as well as the Toronto Street population, as well as Navajo Nation. So thank you all so much for this love and this recognition, and I hope you all have a safe and happy holiday. Bye.
Thanks, Jimbo. This is actually a Jimbo mask. I'm not sure if you can hear me. This is actually one of the Jimbo masks. I got this back in March or April when he first started making them. My whole family wears them, and they're really great. If you've been to the VIATEC Awards before, a few years ago, you might remember at the conference center, we had this really great set that looked like we called it a giant time machine, but it was actually the James and the Giant Peach set. So not only has Jimbo been on Canada's Drag Race, but he's also been a set builder for a lot of local theaters, including Atomic Vaudeville. And he's also worked in the movie industry here in town quite a bit too. So Jimbo's a really interesting and fun person, and we're delighted to have a little bit of time working with him in the past. Now it's time for me to welcome back Mayor Lisa Helps, and she's going to introduce our next COVID hero.
Hello, Mayor Helps here again. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. It's great to see our community come together to learn more about the community members who have stepped up during this very challenging time. And it has been a very challenging time, as we all know. And I'm just so heartened and inspired as mayor about all the great work that's happened in the community coming together. So with that, I am here to tell you about the next COVID hero, which is the Rapid Relief Fund. This was a coalition of business and philanthropic partners that joined together to launch the fund to quickly disperse grants to local registered charities and qualified donees. This fund provided frontline services to vulnerable populations whose staff, volunteers, programs, and operations have been impacted by COVID-19. Over 13,000 donors stepped forward, including, not surprisingly, several inspiring tech leaders who stepped up to the plate and offered matching gifts and donations that helped to distribute over $500,000 in relief. While there are far too many to acknowledge all of them, the individual COVID heroes among this group we're spotlighting today are Ho Kim and Friends, Andrew Wilkinson, Rumble, Heart Pharmacy, the Lake Family, and the Victoria Foundation.
Thank you so much to VIATEC and sponsors of COVID Heroes for this honor. This award, it represents over 13,000 individuals and organizations who gave over $6 million to the Rapid Relief Fund, including many in the tech community, stepped up and provided over $500,000 in funding and in-kind support. Too many names to acknowledge and mention, but a few I'd like to celebrate here right now. Ho Kim and Friends, Andrew Wilkinson and Friends, donors of the VIATEC Foundation Fund, Rumble, Heart Pharmacy, the Lake Family. Now, tech is a thriving sector in our region, but individuals and organizations such as these, you demonstrate that even though your work takes you to all parts of the world, your heart is deeply rooted here at home. Well, thank you for your enduring support. This award, it also recognizes the over 96 local organizations who receive funding from the Rapid Relief Fund and who continue to courageously serve on the front lines of this pandemic. You are amazing, and you are in our hearts and in our minds every day. Thank you so much.
Thanks very much, Zama, and to the entire Victoria Foundation team. What you guys do is just something so terrific and so important to our city, even outside of a pandemic. You're just, as a community foundation, so vital to many organizations in our community, and you allow people with the resources to be philanthropists to really contribute and do something at home, and we're really appreciative of that. And the VIATEC Foundation is a close partner of the Victoria Foundation, and we cherish that relationship. So thanks very much and congratulations. What an amazing thing the Rapid Relief Fund was, bringing together so many resources and so much money in such a quick and timely fashion. It was just terrific. Now let's bring Maggie from KPMG back, and she's going to announce our next COVID hero.
Hello, Maggie here again from KPMG. This is fantastic. I'm really enjoying hearing everyone's stories. I'm here to tell you about the next COVID hero. Congratulations to Smaragda Agas. SMA has been working as an outreach nurse through the pandemic. When everyone went into lockdown in March, she took on more hours working in the downtown core, supporting the most vulnerable community members, as some of her coworkers had to reduce hours to be home with their young families. Outside her work hours, she organized clothing donation pickups from friends and family to bring to Victoria residents who were forced to live outside in the established camping areas, as many donation centers had to close. Many of SMA's most cherished clients died during this time. She was, and still is, exhausted and depleted, and yet is still wholeheartedly dedicated to her work, which is ultimately improving our community as a whole. Amazing. Congratulations, SMA.
Hi, I'm Smaragda, and I want to say thank you to everybody, and especially Katie Bainbridge for nominating me to be a COVID hero. I hope everybody's doing okay and staying safe. Have a lovely day. Thank you.
Congratulations, SMA. If anyone out there is just joining, I just wanted to let everybody know again that the VIATEC Food Bank Challenge is open right now. We're accepting donations. You want to go to viatec.ca. That's viatec.ca. You can find a link. It's really easy to donate online. We're just doing everything we can. Over $50,000 has been raised so far, and we're really hoping that we can support the local food banks. At the time of year when we're all thinking about giving is a great time to give, and they can use those resources throughout the year. And believe me, during the pandemic, people need the food banks more than they ever have before. And so it's really important. So if you have the means, please do what you can to support the people in our community that need it the most. Please welcome now Yolanda Moran from the Roy Group to announce our next COVID hero.
Hi, everyone. I'm Yolanda Moran from the Roy Group. I just wanted to quickly take a minute to thank all of you who found the time to submit a nomination. From what I hear, there were lots of great nominees to choose from, and it sounds like it was a really difficult task to choose the winner. Congratulations to Starfish Medical. Here's a little more about your next COVID hero. Starfish Medical made the decision early on in the pandemic to dedicate over 100 staff and its expertise to developing an innovative ventilator that could be produced quickly to meet demand. Once designed and approved by Health Canada, Starfish continued to use its connections and partners to help source suppliers and get it into production. Congratulations, Starfish Medical team.
Hi, my name is Scott Phillips, the CEO of Starfish Medical. In March, just as the pandemic was going exponential and national borders were closing everywhere, the need for ventilators became very critical. And through the National Manufacturing Supercluster, we were directed to look at a technology in Winnipeg that might be able to contribute. So we flew a team there immediately and brought back a remarkable, older but very compelling technology and started to work on it with the team, hoping that somehow that would be able to make a contribution. A few weeks later, Justin Trudeau mentioned us on national TV, and we were able to work out a contract to supply up to 7,500 of these ventilators to the federal government. The team worked tirelessly up to 16 hours a day and managed to compress about 3 years worth of development into about 3 months and made a regulatory submission. In fact, we just shipped our first commercial units a few weeks ago. Over that time, 106 Starfish employees and 15 local vendors in Victoria and vendors all across Canada contributed. Thanks so much to VIATEC for this recognition.
You know, I remember back when it was announced about all these ventilators that were going to be built in Canada, and Starfish Medical was one of the project leads in making that happen. And seeing the Prime Minister on TV say Starfish Medical was quite a thrill for everybody at VIATEC because, you know, Scott Phillips, the founder of Starfish and that company have just been great supporters of ours over the years. I remember Scott back when it was Scott Phillips Engineering, and he was over in like the Moss and May area in a garage. And that's when he first got into medical devices. And now here we are almost 20 years later, and they are one of Canada's just greatest companies, so well run, and they do such great work. It's an honor to know them, and congratulations to them for what they've done that's actually going to make a difference in the recovery and care of people that are stricken by the virus during the pandemic. So thanks, Scott, and thanks, Starfish. Now, please welcome back again Mayor Lisa Helps to announce our next COVID hero.
Thanks very much. It's so great to be here for this. Really enjoying the programming. And I want to tell you about your next COVID hero, which is the Delusional Theatre Society. For the past 40 weeks, the Delusional Productions has taken the weekly Hootenanny, which previously ran for 15 years at Logan's Pub, and I can attest that it was amazing because I've been many times. So they took that real-time event and transformed it into a free weekly live stream on Facebook and YouTube. It's garnered over 25,000 views and has helped independent local artists here in Victoria be seen internationally. Hosted by Carolyn Mark and Wes Borg, the show has featured over 250 performing artists who are grateful for the unique opportunity it provides. And the show now hosts artists from all over Canada, the US, Europe, and Australia. In addition to this, they continue to work with local nonprofit Lifetime Networks Theatre Troupe to help present live musical comedy variety shows twice a year, now virtually. And if this weren't enough, they've also pivoted from a theater company to a new media tech company and provide instructional videos to other performers across the country on how to use technology to ensure their performances are at their very best for virtual watching. I have to say, it really has been part of the arts community that has carried us forward, and the Delusional Theatre Society has certainly been a very large part of that here in Victoria and around the world. So congratulations, and let's hear from them now.
We're COVID heroes, Carolyn.
We are?
Done it. We've cracked it. Everything's fine.
Sure I haven't given it to anybody, but I'm truly trying not to.
I would like to thank your mom and Jesus.
My mom and Jesus are the same person, as you know.
Right. We'd like to thank our board of directors. My God, we didn't tell them actually that we applied for this, so hopefully we're not in trouble. I'm sure it's fine. Billions of dollars. Stock markets are going to change.
The board of directors?
Yeah, man. And then all the people, that we get to work with, all the beautiful artists. This is what you're supposed to say when somebody hands you a statue of a thing, right? Because there's all those people who played all those songs in the Hootenanny, and then we said, hey, look at us. We're so great. We did the Hootenanny online instead of in a bar where people ignored us. Now they can ignore us online.
Thank you so much, VIATEC.
Thank you for not pulling the Marlon Brando. That would have been very interesting.
Having spare Ethernet cables lying around. We'd love some.
We're starting a nonprofit fund. That's a very good segue to raise money for Ethernet cables for people who just are way too far from the house.
And we're raising awareness for Ethernet cables because they've been so maligned throughout history.
People that hate wires, they hate them. But wires are why we're here.
I thought Bluetooth was going to be the next thing, like CDs. You can chop between all those things, but it doesn't work. Anyway,
you need a wire.
You need a wire.
Thank you, VIATEC.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for whatever. Thanks so much.
They're like really good nerds. They do good things for the nice people like us.
Thanks for the
I really hope the vaccine comes soon.
Interesting points there, Wes and Carolyn. Maybe we all need a little bit more Ethernet cable in our lives. I really appreciate your irreverent attitude and your humor and your sense of humor. And when we do the VIATEC Awards, normally we get a lot of that irreverence on stage as well. So that felt just like at home. And I really appreciate those homemade trophies that you made for yourself. Just so you know, your Astro Dot with complete with COVID mask is on the way. And maybe we'll see it appear as a prop in one of your future performances. And we look forward to it. Thanks very much for what you've done. Bringing people together so that artists can perform is some of the only connective tissue and civic glue that we have as we all isolate. And so what you've been doing is a really important thing for people to feel like they're still part of a community. And we really value what you've done. And we look forward to seeing much more from you in the future. It's time for another COVID Hero Award. So please welcome back Maggie Bartold from KPMG to present the next.
Thanks, Dan. Hi, everyone. I'm honored to reveal the next COVID hero. Congratulations to Redland Technologies. Redland Technologies designs and builds radiation sensing equipment to medical and security imaging customers around the world. As many of their customers are considered essential businesses, Redland's operations had to remain open to supply the demand. In addition to keeping their team safe by redesigning their workspace, they redeployed their 3D printers to make face shields and donated several hundred N95 masks to the Saanich Peninsula Hospital Foundation to help with their PPE shortage. Incredible work. Let's hear from their COO, Jim Balcom.
Hi, my name is Jim Balcom. I'm the COO of Redland Technologies. At the start of the pandemic, we redeployed our 3D printers to print up hundreds of face shields and donate them to local healthcare workers. At the start of the pandemic, we were also contacted by our CT customers who were begging us to please keep running, because CT is the primary diagnostic tool used for the assessment of critically ill COVID-19 patients. So our mission became, how do we keep our 185 employees safe and still supply the critical CT components to our customers? We formed a COVID leadership team led by Diane Kronk, our safety supervisor, and together they've been meeting daily and formulating and planning and overseeing a profound change in our operations here. They've been collaborating with local companies. They've been researching best practices, interpreting Dr. Bonnie Henry's guidelines, and they've done a fantastic job. I'm really proud of the work that they've done. So I'd like to nominate Diane Cronk and our Redland COVID safety team for the COVID Heroes Award. And thank you, VIATEC, for offering and organizing this.
Thanks very much, Jim, and congratulations to the entire Redland Technologies team. I've toured that facility before, and it's just remarkable that they're actually growing the crystals in their laboratory that are used in these very important medical devices. And so it's a fantastic innovation that's made right here in Victoria. And we really appreciate how you found ways to innovatively keep working so that the important equipment that you're providing to the medical teams around the world can get there on time and make the difference that they do. So it's fantastic, and we're really proud of you. Back to the agenda, we need to welcome back Ian Chisholm from the Roy Group, who's going to present our next COVID Hero.
Hey, Chiz again. I trust everybody's enjoying this event as much as we are at Roy Group. Before I reveal the next COVID hero, I wanted to go off script just a little bit and sneak in a thank you to VIATEC. One of the first things I noticed in March when this pandemic crashed into us was that some teams jumped into action. As a VIATEC member, I was really struck with how fast, how coordinated, and how impactful the efforts of the VIATEC team were. I did some digging with a few members of the VIATEC team just to compile a list of some of the efforts that have happened since March, and I actually had to start to write it down. Waiving office, rental, job board, and membership fees. Gathering input and data from members to share the overall impact for recommendations with active committees, task forces, and all three levels of government. Creating templates and checklists to help local companies reopen their offices safely and adapt to changing requirements. Creating an in-depth online resource center that listed all of the available resources and programs available to Greater Victoria tech firms in response to the pandemic. Hosting the first ever virtual fuck-up night with fuck-up cities across Canada. Donations to the Rapid Relief Fund and MyFed Farm. Launching the DER3 program to help Main Street businesses better leverage online and digital tools and strategies to adapt, improve their businesses' online presence and reach. Launching DS4Y to connect underemployed post-secondary graduates with small businesses and not-for-profits, where they can gain meaningful work, experience, and transition to career-oriented employment. Adapting and successfully launching the W Venture program, upgrading Fort Victoria, a place I cannot wait to get back to, with a new roof, new HVAC, new siding, and doubling the internet speeds. And by putting together initiatives like this evening. I'm not sure that everybody knows, but VIATEC was recognized recently as North America's top tech council for COVID response at the Techna Awards. VIATEC, you really stepped up for us. And on behalf of all of your members, I just really want to say thanks. Now, I can get back to the program and reveal your next COVID hero, who is the James Bay New Horizons Society. During the pandemic, the staff at James Bay New Horizons kept the center open every weekday to allow seniors to use the book and the DVD library and have an escape from home. They also offered weekly produce from the Food Share Network, day-old bread from Cobb's, and personal hygiene items to financially struggling seniors. If all of that wasn't enough, 4 staff members became a BC 211 referral organization, which means answering requests for grocery shopping, prescription pickup, providing transportation to the cancer center, as well as meal delivery service. To date, they've organized grocery shopping for over 10,000 people in the Greater Victoria area. They deliver 3 prepared meals a day to up to 235 isolated clients in the CRD. Please join me in congratulating the James Bay New Horizons Society.
I would like to take this opportunity to say thank you to VIATEC for this honor. We would also like to take the time to thank the staff and volunteers at James Bay New Horizons for all their hard work providing programs and supports to the seniors in the community. Take care, stay safe, and happy holidays.
First, congratulations to the James Bay New Horizons Society. That's amazing work that you're doing, helping the people that really need it. And we really appreciate all the volunteers and people that you bring together to help serve our community during these difficult times. Also, thanks, Ian, for the kind words about what VIATEC's been up to during the pandemic. I think that times like this is when community organizations really need to rally, and we're getting evidence of that everywhere. And so we're super proud what we've been able to do, but more importantly, we're super proud to be able to recognize all these other organizations within our community. I want to thank you all for tuning in today. I have one more award to present, and I want to thank everybody who submitted a nomination. Your stories meant something so much to us, and it's just it's great to be a part of a community like what we have in Greater Victoria, and we're super proud to do what we can to shine a spotlight on some of those people who are really making a difference. I hope what you've seen tonight has inspired you. I hope you're doing what you can as a COVID hero. And thank you very much to anyone who's logged in at viatec.ca, viatec.ca, to make a donation to the Mustard Seed Food Bank. That's still available to you right now if you want to do that. We appreciate it. And now let me present our final COVID hero. This one is the Vancouver Island COVID 3D Printing Group. This is just a great story. You're going to see a little video of them in a second here. But in the early stages of the coronavirus pandemic, PPE was in an extremely short supply. Manufacturers were backlogged for months and shipping resources were down. Healthcare facilities had no chance of acquiring enough PPE for the looming first wave of the COVID cases. Do you remember that? How concerned we were you couldn't find masks or anything? Well, the Vancouver Island COVID 3D Printing Group coordinated over 100 volunteers to use their 3D printers to create face shields and ear protector clips for medical masks. Many of them worked 24 hours per day printing. They had these machines just running all day. They were purchasing more filament and designing improvements to the CAD models to make these great devices. As the requests increased, some tech-savvy volunteers worked with a Vancouver group to set up a sophisticated order tracking and delivery route planning system. They also maintained close communication with UVic and VIHA teams and supported one another with supplies, logistics, and technical knowledge. The volunteers consisted of the tech-savvy and also blue-collar university, high school, and middle school students. Some had lost their jobs due to the pandemic or owned small, struggling businesses. Many didn't have a printer, but drove their personal vehicles to pick up and drop off orders, sometimes driving halfway up the island to meet an urgent request. Together, they supplied hospitals, ambulance stations, police and fire departments, senior homes, homeless support workers, rehab centers, midwives, dentists, and so many more. So please give it up for this incredible collaborative group of COVID-19 heroes. It's just an amazing thing that they did. And it was so quick. And it's exactly the type of thing that you want to see from a strong community where it pulls together and people just pull whatever resources they have and whatever time they can give to make a difference. So the COVID 3D printing group is just a phenomenal COVID hero to close that. And so congratulations to them. And let's hear from them now.
My name is Tashin, and I'm 9 years old.
And I'm Tashin's mom.
Hi, I'm Kelly Burns. I'm the owner of West Coast Creations.
I am a prototyping specialist.
I'm a retired teacher.
I'm an electronics technologist with the Canadian Coast Guard.
We were a group of over 100 volunteers from Victoria and Vancouver Island.
In the early stages of the pandemic, PPE was in extremely short supply. We 3D printed face shields and ear protectors and gave them to frontline medical workers.
We delivered over 1,600 3D printed face shields
and 3,000 ear protectors to approximately 50 medical facilities,
including hospitals, ambulances, police and fire departments, senior homes, midwives, and dentists.
During the beginning of COVID, that was kind of a nice thing to feel that you were doing a little bit of something.
For thousands of hours, and it's been totally worth it.
It's great that we can make a difference, but I certainly don't feel like a hero.
Thank you, VIATEC, for recognizing people in the community that do great work.
Thanks, VIATEC.
Thanks, VIATEC.
Thank you, VIATEC.
Thanks, VIATEC.
Thanks, VIATEC.
Well, that's our last COVID hero presentation for the night. We've seen some great projects, individuals, community organizations, frontline health workers, the arts community, the tech sector, from volunteers to organizations digging deep. It's just a magnificent community that we're a part of, and we're super proud to shine a spotlight on some of them. Thanks again to our sponsors. Thanks to the VIATEC staff, board, and our members for the support throughout all this. And if you know a COVID hero that wasn't recognized tonight, please reach out to them, give them a note of thanks. People have been doing some great things, and I think we could all use some additional Christmas cheer or holiday cheer, and saying thank you is just a great gift that you can give somebody. So thanks again. And of course, if you want to go to viatech.ca and make one last donation to the Food Bank Challenge, that's available to you at viatec.ca. Over $50,000 has been raised so far. We're super honored to do what we can to bring this community together. And hopefully next year we'll be able to go back to our usual events. But in the meantime, stay safe out there, everybody, and have a great holiday season.